Welcome back to another episode of the Iron Roots podcast. And in this episode, I'm super excited to talk to you about a method that I didn't even know about or read about until recently, until I got these old books from 1967. But I started implementing it myself when spotting my training partners as a bodybuilder in the early and mid 90s. This method is called the touch system.
This is PLAE's Iron Roots,
a podcast dedicated to uncovering the strength legends, the training methods, and the stories around physical culture and iron history. I'm your host, Zach Even-Esh. Grab yourself a protein shake, chalk up, and prepare to travel back in time through some of the most awe-inspiring stories of iron history. It's go time. So I want to take you on a trip through time. This magazine, Muscle Builder, came out in 1967. You got Dave Draper on the cover, who was the original Golden Boy. You got Bill Peanuts West in here with somebody's hands on him while he's doing the deadlift, which sounds a little bit strange. And then here's the other article, and they called it Using the Touch System for the Deadlift. So basically, what the touch system is where you put your hands maybe on the person's body or on the barbell, and you just touch very lightly, literally 1, 2, 3 pounds of pressure, and it helps the person make the lift. So I want to back up to when I utilized this spotting technique with squatting when I would get to my heaviest set, or if I was spotting my training partner. So when I did my first bodybuilding show in 1995, so actually my first one was the Mr. Israel in 1994. But in 1995, I partnered up with a buddy who I had known for a while, who was a former wrestler, and we would travel to Diamond Gym, which is like the West Side Barbell of bodybuilding gyms. And when we would squat or when we would bench and when we would get to that last set or two, what I would usually do is say, stay with me light. So if I was squatting 405, I would say, stay with me light. And he just put his hands right on my chest, stay right under me. He wasn't helping me, but by putting his hands there, it gave me the confidence to grind through the rep. I've been doing this with the athletes that I coach as well for a super long time, because I found that when you reach those limit weights, those maximum poundages, especially for a younger lifter who's a little bit new to training, and a younger lifter might be a college level athlete. I've done this at the college level for the kids who don't have experience in training. They need that confidence. So when they're about to do that heavy squat, I'll say, I'm going to stay with you light. By putting my hands on their chest while they're squatting, it does two things. Number one, it gives them the confidence, as I said earlier, to push, to grind through, and to not be scared when that resistance comes in. Number two, just by putting my hands on their chest, they focus on more of an upright posture, which is a better squatting position. The last thing I want to do when I see somebody squat is their chest and face start going towards the floor. I always tell them, I go, if your posture starts going down, you're going down. By putting your hands there and implementing the touch system, now they're going to stay upright. I'm in a safe position to spot them, and they have the confidence like, okay, there's no way I could fail this. I've got somebody here. The way I've utilized it in the bench press is the same way. They work up, they get to this heavy set. I put my hands in this over-under position, real gentle, and I'm just there. I'm just keeping my hands there. I'm not actually helping them, but it's giving them the confidence to press through. Now, some people might be saying, well, why would I even do this? I want my athlete to get it on his or her own, or my training partner should get it on his or her own. Well, there's a difference in mindset when we're talking about athletes who are new to that heavy training and learning how to grind versus an athlete who has, or a lifter who has the mindset of, I'm going to make the rep or die. That takes a lot of experience. That takes a lot of guts. And not only does it take experience in training yourself, but it takes experience. It's kind of like, you know, the fighter who keeps entering the boxing ring or the MMA ring, or the wrestler. They've built confidence in what they're about to do and how they're about to perform. The lifter or the athlete who's lifting heavy on a regular basis, they begin to remove the doubt. So as a coach myself, when those kids get up to that heavy lift, if it's a squat or bench, I'll say, okay, you want to go a little heavier here? I'll stay with you. Immediately, it boosts their confidence. What's interesting, though, in these magazines is they used these photos in the instructional on using the touch system for the deadlift. And that's something I actually wouldn't advise, right? So you see they'll place the hand on the small of the lower back, and then the other hand is kind of like on the chest or on the shoulder. Basically what that's doing, even though I wouldn't do it, it's kind of like you're crowding that lifter's personal space. They got to be crazy focused during a heavy deadlift. But that touch of the chest, I could see where they're coming from. It reminds the lifter to stay with that chest tall during a deadlift. So taking that touch system, how could you apply this to your own training? Whether you're a coach or not, it doesn't matter. If you've got a training partner who is kind of hesitant about going heavier, that's when you start implementing, say, hey, why don't you add 5 pounds each side? I'll stay with you light for 3 reps. I would even do it when I would go up to my heaviest dumbbell benching, 130s, 140s when I trained out of Diamond Gym. I'd get up to that heavy weight and I'd say, stay with me light. You put your hands right under your partner's triceps near that elbow area. You're just staying with them light, and it gives them the confidence to hit heavy. So I'd love to hear how you go about implementing the touch system. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, leave a comment below. How have you implemented this before? Remember, this is from 1967. We're talking some 40 plus years ago, and I'm still using it today. And I came across this stuff kind of by accident in my bodybuilding days, but I found it's had great application beyond the bodybuilding as a strength coach and as a training partner. So drop a comment here on YouTube. Let us know how you're implementing the touch system, questions you might have about spotting. And if you're listening anywhere that you could listen to our podcast, leave a review, share it with another strength coach, another strength athlete. We want to get the word out on the Iron Roots podcast. You guys supporting us keeps us going. And of course, the best comments, we're going to kind of randomly pick who's inspiring us, who's got great comments, and we're going to send you some free gear, Iron Roots from PLAE. So that's it for this episode of the Iron Roots podcast. I know you get inspired and you learn from this. Put it to use. That's the only way this stuff works. Action always beats talking about it. I'll see you in the next episode. Talk to you later.